Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to part 9 of the GTO trainer. Today we're doing verse raise and a call. 9 hand configuration. Okay, so fold around to the cutoff, who opens, button calls. Button's going to be, cutoff has a naturally wide range, very late on. Button's going to have a very wide calling range. We're talking a lot of suited connectors, pretty much. Yeah, bottom of range would be your suited connectors. They'll probably be flatting with a lot of suited kings, suited aces, obviously, maybe in some ace off hands. Well, we're unable to identify that range. But yeah, so look, the cutoff's going to have a very wide range naturally. And then the button's going to have a pretty wide calling range as well. However, they will be capped. Multi-way on the big blind with 6 deuce. That's going to be a standard fold. Yep. So yeah, standard fold from big blind. So here we are, next hand, facing a under the gun open, a button call. And the small blind, we're going to have a very, very strong range to continue here against a very strong under the gun range. Multi-way, and we're going to have to be acting first. So 8 deuce will be a standard fold. Next hand, open from the hijack. Decently wide range, once again a call from the button. Then we are in the big blind with 10-5 suited, or offsuit, sorry. If it was suited, probably still a fold, even if we are getting good odds, but 10-5 just not good enough to realize those odds, which is kind of the main thing from the big blind, is that you have far greater pot odds as we did there. Pretty much there's $5 in the pot already, and we only need to contribute an extra $1 to that pot, essentially, so we don't need that much equity to continue profitably, but 10-5 just won't have that much equity, and just a terrible hand, full stop. Facing an under the gun open, a small blind. So when the small blind defends, it's going to be a very strong range from the small blind, because they still have us to act behind, and they have the knowledge of knowing that they're going to have to act first, and also they're calling a very strong under the gun range, so 10-7 is going to be a standard fold. Moving to the next hand, hijack open, a cutoff call. We're in the small blind with king 10 offsuit. King 10 suited would probably be a squeeze, but King 10 offsuit, most I believe, should be a fold. Still got the big blind to act behind, and King 10 suited isn't playing that well up against the hijack's range anyway. It's going to be outkicked in a lot of situations, put into some very tough situations where you could, and also it's a very polarized hand as well. It's either top pair or nothing, so I reckon this is fold. I don't like how it constantly keeps on playing it out, though. That's not very ideal, but yeah, correct move there. Does it show us what we should be calling with? It does not. Moving on to the next hand here. So low jack opens, small blind defends. Here we are in the big blind with 10-8 suited. Small blind's going to have a decently strong range when they're defending with us behind. Low jack's decently wide range, kind of a middling type of range. 10-8 suited, it's a nice, beautiful suited connector. I'm assuming we might not want to be going multi-way, however. And 10-8 suited could work well as a 3-bet bluff, is what I'm thinking, in terms of doesn't have much opportunity to be dominated by the low jack's range. Not gonna get out kicked in a lot of situation. Has plenty of post flop potential. Maybe if it was more of a connector rather than a gapper, it would be a little bit better. And then we're also getting 5-1 odds. So I'm assuming this would be a call. Yep, best move. So yeah, call there. Does it show us the range? It does not, but yeah, I reckon it's a call. So the main reason why we're saying that's a call, damn, the small blind calling with queens. But the main reason why we're saying that is a call is it has a lot of post flop potential. It's unlikely to be dominated. due to it not being a face card or any high card for that matter, so it's unlikely to be dominated, meaning you're not going to get put into tough situations where you got top pair. It's not overly polarized. You don't have to only be hitting top pair and that's it. It's got a lot of post-flop potential, hit straights, flushes, decent amount of two pairs as well. So those are the type of hands we would love to defend with, especially when we're getting such a good price. We don't need much equity to profitably call that in the long run, even if we are kind of sandwiched in between. But these are the kind of hands that we want to be having. Moving on to the next one, cutoff open, big blind, a button call. We're getting about, so what we have to call 1.5 bigs to win 6.5 bigs. 5-3 is pretty much similar to that 10-8 hand we were just talking about. So it might be, it might say that it's a wrong move because it's just a little bit too low. Could be the potential, but these are the exact type of hands you would want to be defending from the big blind with. So I'm going to select call. Yep, okay, beauty. So yeah, it's exact same thing as I was just saying. So yeah, it's okay, so it's about an 80-20. 100% of the time with the 10-8s suited. But these are the exact hands we want. They're not going to be dominated, plenty of post-flop potential, and they play very well against a open range, mostly because an opening range is most likely going to be not going to connect with a lot of boards that we're going to be connecting with a 5-3 suited. Moving on to the next hand, we got low jack opening button calls. We're in the small blind of 9-3. We're going to need a very, very strong range within the small blind, as we're going to be acting first with still one player to act behind in the big blind, and we're going to be acting first post flop. So it's going to have to be a very, very strong range, which obviously 9-3 is not. Exact same situation with 9 deuce, even though we are up against a decently wide range in the hijack. We're still talking about we're still going to have to act first, even though we are getting fantastic pot odds. We need to still have a decent enough hand to realize that equity, and we're looking at more of some suited connector cards, suited gapper cards, even suited double gapper cards. 9 deuce is just a horrific hand. In the small blind with 8-7 offsuit facing a low jack opener and a button call, if it was suited, it would be 100% a call, but due to it being offsuit, doesn't have as much post-flop potential. Yes, it still has that, plays decently well, but we've lost a flush, which is going to be a lot of equity that would want to have. So it's lost a lot of that post-flop potential. Still isn't going to be dominated, which is a good thing. However, if it was suited, 100% a call, offsuit, 100% a fold. So fantastic. Pretty much all hands were pre-flop, mostly because the only hand that I think, this hand, wrong one. But yeah, this hand here was the only one that we ended up calling with. Oh no, we also called with the 5-3 suited as well. But yeah, they just don't have solutions on GTO for multi-way pots. But yeah, fantastic pre-flop play, so that's the main thing that we're going to be considering from the blinds, which is when you're mostly going to be in these, or at least from a GTO standpoint, the only real situations where you're going to be facing a raise and a call is when you're in the blinds, and you want to be looking to defend, especially from the big blind, mostly looking at suited connector cards that aren't going to be dominated, play well post-flop, and realize your pot odds and kind of be able to realize your equity a lot better and not be dominated. And then from the small blind, you're looking at a very tight, strong range due to the fact that you've got the big blind to act behind. So you got to be considering that. So you're going to be far stronger from the small blind than you are from the big blind, and then mostly looking just to defend when you're going to be heads up from the small blind. So not much from this raise and call situation. And then the big blind mostly, like I said, though, focusing on those suited connectors as your defend. And then obviously if we've got some better hands, top of range type of stuff, you're looking at a big squeeze, big 3-bet to try to isolate either the initial raiser or the very wide caller range, one of those two. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Play well, have a go on. Take care.